along. Get a close-up on camera 3.
Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the Oval. We will be discussing the case of the Penn State student Timothy Piazza, which has been reopened due to new evidence. We also have a special guest, Ramon the Pizza Guy, who seems to be Oñate celebrity this year. So let's get right into it. Timothy Piazza, he was a Penn State student, sophomore, I believe, and last February he passed away, unfortunately, through, I think it was the pledging process.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of Greek organizations, when we think of Greek life, we think, okay, hazing and lots of drinking and lots of partying, but I personally don't I try to kind of steer away from that stereotype, because I know how amazing Greek organization. He's like, he's here. He's like, you better not trash.
You know what, when you go to a frat party, this is what my strategy is. You have to go, and if they make you pay fine, you have to go to the back where the facility where they have the beverages is, right? You have to stay there and keep refilling your drinks so you get your money's worth. But going back to more serious matters, it said that they gave him 18 drinks in an hour and 22 minutes, which even for however much he weighs or how tall he is, that's not like. That's like almost impossible.
This was also the first day of pledging.
Yeah, his first.
That's far too much.
First of all, like 18 drinks and under 18 drinks off rip.
Oh my God.
You would be incapacitated. Like why would you give someone 18 drinks? He's a football player. So that doesn't give any right to give more drinks, or even on the first night. Like why would you be drinking on the first night?
Because it's conflict night. Usually, like what fraternities, some of them do conflict night. It's like the initiation. It's the most intense night. And it's like if you make it past it, then you're good enough to continue the pledging process. So that's probably what it was. Really? They give you a bunch of drinks. It's like the first part of the ritual, and the pledging process. For some, not all organizations. Some of them are different.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, it's definitely a varied kind of.
So who here is actually involved in a Greek organization?
I am Delta Omega Epsilon Fraternity Incorporated. Well, I can't really say what I've done in my pledge process because it is confidential. Sure. But what I will say is that there's nothing that we will make you do that we haven't done, and that's something that's not dangerous. If anything dangerous, you can always say no. There's always a choice. In other other fraternities and sororities, sometimes you cannot say no. If you say no, then you can leave.
Especially at a huge state school.
Right.
And I think that we should go even as far to say this is bigger than fraternities and sororities.
Absolutely.
Because when we come to college, we're kind of like, oh my God, college, we have to party, we have to do this. And if you aren't used to that lifestyle, then you can very easily get carried away.
Especially for a guy in this type of like climate, this cultural move towards like the Sunni part, whatever, like those different accounts. Like all of those accounts, Old Row and all of those, it's such like I think to me, it's a testament of like this toxic masculinity thing where guys have to like shotgun a ton of beer. And so I think that the new findings, they found a video.
Yeah, they found so when the case was happening back in February, they convicted, I'm pretty sure.
I think five individuals.
17 people face charges, but 5 of them are facing manslaughter, which carries a maximum of 2.5 to 5 years in prison.
Yeah, so when it first became a case, those people were convicted, they were charged, and the case was closed. And then a video resurfaced of the members giving him
18
drinks
within 80 minutes.
Within 80 minutes.
Back to back,
So those people that were in that video that weren't charged before.
I think it was 12 additional members of the
Yeah,
fraternity.
12.
So now there's a whole entire new case for them, and they're being charged with involuntary manslaughter. Is that it? So
The fraternity is disbanded now. I guess no longer existing at the institution.
They were
Penn
actually
State.
already suspended because for hazing
Years
8
ago.
years prior. So
Oh.
this was a fraternity that wasn't supposed to be. I don't
So it
know.
was
If
an
it was,
unrecognized fraternity.
you know what? I'm not sure how it
I
works.
I
in
honestly
terms-
think it was a recognized one,
It
but they were
was, but
expelled
they were-
because of the issues that they had before. But point being is that this happens a lot. This happens not only in Greek organizations, but in college, college in general. This happens where people binge drink and they can't control themselves. And I think this is an important. This happening, obviously, it's incredibly devastating.
And it's probably not
but
the only one.
It's not the
Yeah.
only one, and it won't be the only case. So it goes to show that we as college students, as individuals, have to be smart about what we do up here because we're by ourselves. We don't have our
Exactly.
parents. His parents didn't even want him to join the fraternity, and time after time he defended and said, well, I want to do this because it's great networking and it is.
All
It
the-
is.
Right.
Yeah,
There are
Depending on the
definitely-
situation, it can be.
It
but-
is,
Sure.
but
There
his
are
parents were just completely against it because they know the stereotype. They know, okay, these people, what are they doing? They're drinking uncontrollably.
Yeah.
It's not a
It makes
healthy
sense,
thing to
yeah.
put
Well,
a
so
situation to put yourself in.
It must not have been this particular individual. It has nothing to do with Timothy Piazza. He was obviously being, I don't know if he was being force-fed drinks, but after a certain point, he's going to be incapable of consenting
no.
to,
Yeah.
to
He
these
would say
drinks.
more and
I'm
more and
sure
more.
he was like, oh, I'm just, I'm here, I'm just taking in drinks, that's fine. And so he just kept going and going.
It's also to the members. They shouldn't. If you see someone's like incapacitated, you shouldn't keep giving someone drinks. I mean, it was probably to begin with, first couple drinks. It's your choice. But then also, at least for one, that's what people should even in school, people especially this school, they educate people. They say have a couple drinks, drink water, and people should continue to do that because no one could stop partying. But that just shows that people need to employ more rigorous what's it called, just when you're drinking, just make sure you stay hydrated, eat, just don't keep drinking and drinking.
And that's
for an hour or
relevant
two.
for everyone here because
definitely.
we're in college.
Another thing that it could run into is being a bystander. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of bystanders there who could have said something.
Definitely.
And this goes out to the people who's watching and in the future, if you do see someone who's incapacitated, don't be that person to say, okay, somebody else will take care of it. Be that person to hey, are you okay? Ask them if they're okay. Try to get them a drink or not another drink, a drink of water.
Water's
Something
pretty
to
good.
sober them up.
I think
So-
people are worried about getting in trouble for the drinking itself, that they not only don't want to help another person, but that they don't want to help themselves because they're so concerned. But our school, I know, has a particular policy where, you're not going to get in trouble.
One
for-
time though.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
true?
a one-time
It can't
thing.
be a reoccurring
but-
issue. So the
Right.
first time you won't get in trouble for it, but the second time,
Oh, yeah.
that's it. It's not a mistake at that point,
Right.
Because it happened more than once.
I mean, nonetheless, I think that people still need to just, if we're worried about getting in trouble more than we're worrying about other people's.
Their life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is where we run into problems like these, where we're too nervous about getting in trouble than we are helping.
But technically, we ourselves wouldn't get in trouble because, it does apply the Good Samaritan Act. If someone is incapacitated or in some type of distress, we can help them, and we wouldn't really get in trouble. Whether I don't know about if you're under the influence of alcohol, but you'll be covered by the law if they get hurt. So they can't really sue you, and you can't really get in trouble. So
I don't know the logistics. I don't know what's fact, what you can get in trouble for, but I know that obviously these instances are preventable and that we should learn from them, and students just have to be more aware of what they're doing. And I just think it's a shame that somebody so young had to die, and this has to be a learning experience
Absolutely.
for all members.
Absolutely. And I think that it happens beyond what we can fathom. And people get very lucky sometimes, but I know that we all know a few horror stories of people being so incapacitated that they have to be hospitalized or whatever it may be. So I think that, it definitely is we have to take it and be more aware of what's
Yeah.
going on around us. So.
Well, moving on to a more lighthearted topic. Today we have a special guest, Ramon from Domino's, who has taken Sunyata by storm, especially this year. His celebrity has risen exponentially as he's taken over numerous events with his presence, and he's just made everyone smile at parties. And it's a pleasure to have him here.
Let's go! Pizza guy!
You want a party with the Oval TV? Yeah! Is what you get!
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
This is the best day of my life.
And I got a special little delivery here
No way.
at the end.
He's my new best friend.
I hope so.
Can we have him on the show
Every
single
time.
day?
Yeah.
You want to be
The energy is
a permanent
ridiculous.
host. It's amazing.
Love to stop by anytime. Absolutely anytime.
Okay, so really important question starting off.
So,
What's your favorite type of pizza?
my favorite type of pizza is a thin crust vegetarian.
I
And
respect that.
with little to almost no cheese. The reason is, I love eating the toppings.
All right.
And and here's another thing. And I tell this to freshman students when they come to school. The fear is the freshman 15.
I mean,
I gained it.
I tell them, you know what?
I got it.
I tell them, forget the freshman 15. You have to fear the Ramon Wild 20. Trust me, I think I've been a victim of that.
Yeah.
But that is my favorite pizza.
We've seen you a lot this semester around Oneonta. Have you been here? Is this your first time in the area, or?
No, I've been in upstate New York for the past 2 years. But this year we really wanted to.
Your presence is well.
I was gonna say, you know,
Yeah.
you're famous, right?
That's
Yeah.
good
Real.
marketing. Yeah, that's good marketing.
great
Turn it
marketing.
up.
Okay, so my question, okay? And I'll just let us know
Okay?
the age-old question,
Got it.
does pineapple belong on
Oh my
pizza?
God, that's a great
Not only-
question.
Let me tell you.
Oh,
Not only does pineapple belong on pizza.
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
There's actually been times that I forgot somebody sent me a photo. They said sometimes pizza belongs on pineapple.
I saw that. The
And I thought that was
little
hilarious.
tiny
Now you could be
pizza.
thinking,
You're a good man.
why,
I don't
right?
like
Yes,
pineapple
why?
Why
on
should
pizza.
pineapple go on pizza? Why not?
Because pizza's
Because
good
food is
regardless
food.
of what's on it.
Why do you want to have
Absolutely.
fruit and
Listen,
pizza?
here's
Just
the-
have one on the other.
Here's the thing.
Absolutely.
Pineapple's a fruit.
Uh-huh.
We
I
have
don't
tomato
like
sauce.
pineapple.
Yes,
Tomatoes are fruit.
exactly.
So I mean,
You
Salt.
eat
Salt.
cheese and fruit.
Exactly.
Like
cheese
you'll
and
eat a
fruit.
cheese
Yeah.
plate,
Yeah, but
a
So do
cheese
you
platter.
think pineapple belongs on a pizza?
Of course,
Absolutely,
it brings out a certain.
Have you guys actually ever had it?
Yes, I have.
No, I've actually never-
I've never had
need
it.
a hug.
I don't know, like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
such a New Jersey.
We getting
Are you
into
guys
this
getting
today.
a selfie?
No, I'm gonna put him on my Snapchat right now.
Oh my God.
Yup.
Are we allowed to curse?
Here we go. We'll make
No,
a
I
video
don't
on
think
it.
so.
Now I just got asked, does pineapple belong on a pizza? Of course it belongs on a
Of
pizza.
course.
We even have a special one that we make that's called the Sophie Hawaiian.
Oh.
What is it?
Named
Hawaiian?
after a girl that's at Hobart Hall. You'll have to call me and ask me what it
jealous
is.
of Sophie.
Live and live. Out of here.
Hey.
I'm
Liv.
jealous of
Oh, wait.
Sophie and
a whole
Holbert.
pizza named
Exactly.
after her. Give
A
it up
whole-
to Sophie.
That's it. And when she watched the show, she's gonna say, "I wish I skipped diving practice."
You know.
But hey,
Okay, so what exactly is your marketing strategy? Because
yeah,
I
it's very
know.
simple. Absolutely, it's very simple. A couple very key things. Here's my elevator pitch. One, we want to earn every single person's business. How are we gonna do that? Very simple. We want people to get to know the face and the faces behind the logo. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. I turn it up a little bit by adding that ingredient, love. No one will ever show any one of my customers or any one of my friends more love, more brand love than me. Doesn't exist. It's absolutely impossible.
Yup. That's what it's all
I think
about.
it is so incredible that you took a company as big as Domino's and you made it a community brand.
Exactly. We're locally owned and
Incredible.
operated. We have eight stores in upstate New York. And it just comes always down to that premise. Are we earning your business? Who else could you call, snap, chat, text, you name it, till you fall asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning? Here.
Well, question.
Yeah, 3:30
Answer.
delivery feature. That's
How
really clutch.
far do
I
you
appreciate
deliver?
that.
Well, I mean, the store in Oneonta covers, most of Oneonta, so it kind of,
Goes to Cooperstown, right? Does it go
No.
up there?
No.
No.
Okay.
That's far.
trust me, that's far.
What about past Price Chopper? That a little too far?
You know what? I'd have to.
Well, because I live there, so I just want to.
But I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
if we don't, and I happen to be in town, I can make anything happen. I've been known to make pizzas appear.
Ooh.
So wait,
That's
if you're
it.
gonna
I'm jealous.
choose
I want that.
life or death, just choose pepperoni on a pizza. Just one topping at a time. Pepperoni or sausage, which one would you choose?
Cheese.
Ooh.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese is king.
Jeez.
Cheese is king. Cheese
Yeah,
is politically
wait,
correct,
what's
and we
everybody-
don't serve cold cheese.
Okay.
Yup.
Taking a stand.
I personally don't think cold cheese belongs on a
Wait,
pizza.
so what
all.
is everyone's favorite?
It's because you don't burn the roof of your mouth when you're drunk. That's why they started it.
Didn't we just talk about not being drunk 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
You need to be socially responsible. You need to socially responsible.
He'll watch
Sober.
the episode again later.
Well, I was curious everybody's favorite pizzas.
Yeah, that happens.
Cheese. I like cheese.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
I'm that girl.
Really?
Yes.
If it's not cheese,
I don't think I've ever
I like
had
cheese,
a
I like
pineapple
cheese.
pizza. Do you guys do? You have pineapple?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Yes,
I've gotten
How much is a
pineapple
pineapple pizza? Maybe I'll try it.
Depends on what. The first pizza's always free.
Okay.
Call me, talk, text me, chase my car when you see me going down Dormitory Road. Figure it out a way. I got you.
Oh man.
I'm gonna take you up on that offer. I'll chase your car down for a
That has happened.
pizza.
That has happened. That has happened.
Yeah, it was probably me.
I mean, I'll chase the car down. I promise you, I won't get far. I'll probably get like 6 steps. And, you know.
I mean that in a nice way.
So we're back on the Oval. We're hanging out with four important members of the Oneonta community. We're hanging out with Ramon the Pizza Guy, Kaylor, Jenna, and Danielle. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk about each contribution that everyone has to Oneonta and what they do. So who wants to start off?
I think we'll start off here with Kaylor. Now, all fun aside, with everything, crashing parties and putting smiles on people's faces. But part of what we really want to do is we want to emotionally connect with the community. And how we do that is in a multitude of ways. I'm going to share 3 really great examples. Kaylor is from the Oneonta Free Rides. It's called the Redemption Movement. We met probably about 2 years ago when it was a grassroots effort to provide free rides on Water Street every Friday night, regardless of weather, back to campus. When I saw what he was doing, he had like a card table right on Main Street, and one day I stopped by to ask him what he was doing. And then at that point, every Friday night at 1:30 in the morning, we throw a pizza party, more or less around last call, and the whole goal is to attract people to his station so that they could either warm up, get a breathalyzer, and Kaylor will fill you in on exactly what it is that we do.
Thanks, Ramon. Yeah, I've been working with Ramon now for almost 2 years, and he's been very generous with providing free pizza not only for the people that come to our kindness station, but also the volunteers that serve with us. And that has been really good because I've been trying for years to get more people to volunteer with our organization, because the more help that we have, the more that we can do, the more rides that we can give. But I've never had the resources to feed everybody.
So now we do. Now, since you started, what number of rides are we up to, and how much time frame did we do that?
Yeah, well, currently we've been doing the ride since 2013, and our total is currently at 5,700 rides.
Wow. 5,700 rides have been provided back to campus, getting students home safely.
These cab rides, like vehicle rides?
No, these are, it's not a cab ride officially. We got a couple different cars. 2 are owned by the church. One's my personal car. That's all insured with trained volunteers. And we don't just take them from Water Street too. People can call us for rides. So we have our phones going off the hook all night long as well. So we do go to the house parties and do what we can to take those people home as well. We only take people home. That's the catch. We don't take people to the bars. We don't take people to the parties.
Yeah, bring them back to safety.
Yeah, and if we got a car free, we'll even patrol Center City and just looking for people that needs help.
And there have even been moments where he provided some intervention, where people needed help, and you've gotten them the necessary help they've needed.
Right.
Yeah, we've taken people to the hospital, make sure they get into the ER. We've found some people overdosing. We've prevented some sexual assaults. Found some ladies in some really sticky situations. We've been able to step in and get them out of there. So I've been doing this since 2013. I've seen so much. We're out there till 3-4 o'clock every Friday night, and we go out for the big events too, like Halloween and O-Fest and whatnot. And so I've seen it all. I actually write about all of these on our blog as well. So every night we get a blog with pictures and stuff. And yeah.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
that's what we do. That's
So
what we
now
do.
we're gonna. So I guess moving on, we're moving on to Jenna. So what's your role in the Oneonta community?
All right. Well, wouldn't say I have a big role, but I definitely promote Domino's because who doesn't want to promote Domino's? Come on, it's the best. I actually dressed up as Ramon for Halloween because, you know, I didn't want to pull the original cat costume. If you guys were a cat, I'm sorry. You probably rocked it, but, you know.
Always a classic.
Yeah,
Change it
yeah.
up, though.
Always.
Why not?
Yeah, so threw on a mustache, made my own Domino's outfit, and yeah, had a great night. Love seeing Ramon out, always a good time, put a smile on my face. So
Okay.
Did you eat Domino's that night?
Did you?
I 100% ate Domino's
All
that
right.
night and the night before and the night
I
before.
did not know you did that.
What?
That you dressed up as me.
You didn't know?
Were you
No.
surprised that
I
someone
was-
dressed
I was-
up as you?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you feel when you found out that someone was
I
you?
was off the charts. If she could tell you the long takes, love, adore, can't believe it, da 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 da.
So did
That.
a
It
lot
was
of
a hit.
people know? Did a lot of people like say?
So many people came
Ramon.
up to me. Ramon, great idea. So
That's
it was definitely
great.
a hit.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
man.
original.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to ask you, why did you do it?
Just because you're a well-known guy. You know, I thought everyone would appreciate
Well-known.
it. So,
Well
Awesome.
known.
All right.
Thank
well,
you very much.
of course.
Moving on. Now, what about you, Danielle?
I actually met Ramon in the beginning of the year, and then I had an idea for my dorm to do an event called Toby Talks, and I asked Ramon for help to bring people in, and the idea was just to have an open discussion for all my dorm mates and everybody here to talk about if they're feeling homesick or just overwhelmed with the transition from being home with their parents to college life and living on their own. So yeah, and with Ramon's help, it actually became a big hit, and people actually do enjoy coming. So that means a lot to us, and it's to me especially. So.
That's great.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Because the reality was with a lot of events on campus, a big draw is if there's going to be free food to get people to come to.
Oh, of course.
Of course. I pitched Danielle on that. And I said, watch this.
Yeah.
But not only that, we are really going to spearhead. We got some really cool ideas that that we're going to be rolling out to make this very impactful, and hopefully it might even become a movement around campus. So
I
thank you very
hope so.
much.
That'll be something
Thank you.
great.
Something
Something
for the
great.
coming years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy transition.
So one last question for you. You're on your way to becoming an Oneonta legend. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Extremely humble. You know, and absolutely. I've been in this game, the Domino's pizza, the pizza game for about 10 years longer than you've been born. You know, I started as a pizza delivery driver in Chicago. I did that for about 3 years, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to rise amongst the ranks. And I don't want to tell you my I dropped out of college story, because I don't recommend it, unless you just have and you're just willing to work extremely hard and not sleep and have that and never stray from that long-term goal, long-term vision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should make sure nobody asks me what my long-term 4-year goal here is at Oneonta. Please don't ask me that.
Yeah. Well, you definitely made the best out of it. Well, that is all we have for time tonight on the Oval. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Ramon, you three, for showing us your contributions to Oneonta. And we want to say a big thank you to Ramon again for coming on the
Thank
show,
you.
and hope you guys enjoy and come back next week.
All right.
Fake news, a multi-million-dollar industry, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. What's harmless clickbait to some is opinion supporting hard fact to others. An issue so prominent that sites like Facebook and Google are taking notice, with Google cracking down on over 300 fake news sites in 2016. In 2017, fake news is on the rise, with the president who's coined the term, saying, in quote, "I started this whole fake news thing." With a proud president, unemployment on the rise, and a potential to make profit, what's stopping everyday American citizens from becoming the architects behind fake news sites? So, when I say fake news, what is the first thing you think of?
Definitely Donald Trump would be the first thing.
I think about Donald Trump, honestly.
Donald Trump, mostly.
Obviously is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, he is a political leader. So when it comes to our political leaders, do you feel like you can trust what comes out of some of their mouths when it pertains to something that could be newsworthy?
I want to say that I do, but when they're going so quick to refer to everything as fake news, it makes me question some of the things that they are saying.
I think to some extent that you can, but definitely you should take the time to look into things more in depth on your own time. Check out other news sources and not just stay with one source all the time.
I feel like it's kind of I feel like for the most part I could trust them, but you never really know what goes on behind closed doors. So for that reason, there's always reasons to be skeptical.
Just building off that, as far as fake news, do you find it harmful or harmless in terms of our overall democracy?
I think it's definitely more harmful than harmless, but at the same time, you shouldn't be judging everything based off of one site. You should look at different things to try to get an overall better idea of what's going on.
I actually think it's pretty harmful because then it gets the people to like lose trust in their government and basically their country. So I feel like it is harmful for democracy because people are gonna start like losing faith in our leaders.
That is a tough one. I feel like it might be slightly harmful if the news is actually proven to be fake. I believe a lot of it is just he said, she said. I don't believe that most of the fake news is actual fake. I think it's just a political angle that he takes.
Okay, just pertaining to news in general, where do you personally get your news from, primarily?
I don't really watch the news that much, but whenever I do, it's usually like CNN or something. Or like social media, mostly.
I do get most of my news from social media, but at the same time, like if I'm reading an article on Facebook, I don't say, oh my gosh, this is 100% fact. If it's something I think is interesting, I'll take the time to go look at other sites and see what else is going on there.
So what if I told you you can make at least 5 figures a year generating fake news or fake news sites? Would you jump at that opportunity or would you hold off?
I definitely have to think about it. Like, I wouldn't say no right away.
That's fair. We are in college.
Yeah, it's a pretty big chunk of change,
I think if you're intentionally creating the fake news, I think that would be extremely harmful. So no, I would not jump at that.
Fake news is chipping away at our democracy with every click and share. These full-time fake news generators are making upwards of 6 figures off of our laziness. If you see a news story and it seems suspicious, question it, look into it. It's worth it.